Hello and welcome to Power Marriage. My name is Pablo Marte and this is my beautiful wife.
Mariceli Malte.
Thank you for clicking on this video.
Awesome. Welcome.
Yeah, today we're going to talk about something special.
Okay.
It's called,
Something different, right?
well, it's called trust.
Okay. And
Do
a
you
marriage?
trust? Do you trust me?
Yes.
That didn't sound too
Like,
sincere.
it's like truthful.
Yeah, it was
Like I was.
like you dragged it
Like,
out.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that was truthful, honey.
Um, why do you trust me?
Hmm. Where do I trust you? Well, let's see here. You are my husband. You are my uh, my provider. You are my you're the leader of my home, and I trust you through God because it's not like I could fully trust in a man, you know, but I trust God through you. Is that a good answer for you?
You
Or
said you could trust in a man.
no,
That's what you just said.
no, I said I can't trust in a man, but I trust God through you.
God through you.
You know, I trust God, right? So He does the rest.
Interesting. All right, well, there you have it. We got the video evidence, so I'll just save this video. Yeah, I didn't, we didn't plan it to talk. Well, I've been thinking about it for a while to talk about trust.
Okay.
So I just figured let's be a little spontaneous with it and ask you.
Well,
I
you
was
got.
doing my coaching
Oh,
techniques there.
okay. I missed it, I guess. Ah. No, I mean, trust is a big thing. It's
Of
not
course.
just saying, I trust my husband, right? There's got to be evidence. We live in a fallen world, so trust is something that you have to work for. Trust is not something that it tells me in the Bible not to trust a man.
Where did it tell you that?
It says it in the Lord somewhere in the Bible. I'll Google it. I just don't have my phone with me.
You're phoneless right now.
Yeah, it's don't put your faith on a man.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of like it's in the same line of trust and faith. So.
Very good. Well, so you brought up good points there, right? Trust is given, right? Because obviously you said you trust me and you gave me some reasons why, and that's usually how trust works.
Yes.
For the same reason I trust you is because there's been many instances where you have come through or said you're going to do something and you have come through, and so little by little it builds trust, right? Maybe for the first instance, I say, okay, well, I trust you did that good, so next time you tell me, hey, I'm going to do that same thing again,
Yeah.
I kind of have that trust, like, well, you did it once, so of course you do it again,
Yeah.
and then trust builds in that till you get to a certain level of trust. And sometimes, it's difficult to build trust up to a certain, to the level, I guess, also the way that I have that I trust you. I mean,
Yeah.
I could fall asleep right here. I don't have a worry that, that any harm is going to come to me because if you're here, you're kind of watching out for me. And,
Yeah.
I mean, I have that trust, I mean.
And it's easily to also break that trust.
Yeah, well, that's where I was getting how difficult it is, right, to build that trust, but how easy it is.
To break it.
Right, so you have to do many instances of, again, of keeping your word, of doing certain things that you say you're going to do so that trust can build, and sometimes it just takes one instance to break that trust.
That's hard.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's simple, I mean, how it works, but yeah, it is hard and difficult to the reality of it is difficult, that, yeah, one instant can break trust.
Yeah. A little lie, a white lie, like people say. Just not being honest, hiding things, or those are just little things that.
And we could say something like a white lie. Obviously, any lie is wrong, but a white lie sometimes maybe you don't even take it in a certain way. But the problem is that once you open the door to that one lie, then that usually a lie
Leads to another one.
happens to a snowball effect. As a matter of fact, I would like to say who said this. I remember I heard recently, I think I told you that when I heard this, that somebody said, one lie, not one lie, but one sin is nothing, one sin. And whoever it was, I just can't think right now, said that Adam sinned once. Right? Adam sinned once and caused all this chaos in humanity with one sin. So, and that's usually how it works. I mean, well, that's an exaggerated example. No, I mean, that is how it works. So sometimes we don't see it and we don't know, but that the lie or the one lie or the one sin has snowball effects, and it affects other people. And it just, starts rolling downhill, and it picks up momentum, and one sin can cause a lot of chaos.
Very true.
So I don't know what that has to do with trust, but
Boy, I think it does. I mean, that's what you said,
Yeah, no, but I'm saying, I took it
You
somewhere
lost
else,
it?
right?
Okay, I don't know.
took it somewhere else. But
I was following and I thought it made sense in my head.
Well, we were
See,
talking about
that's
how
how much I trust my husband, that I trust.
you trust that I was still on the same path, even though I was far off.
Okay.
But yeah, no. So when you because you were talking about lie, right? How even a lie can break the trust.
Yeah.
And again, just something simple like that, one thing can have a big devastation, right?
Yes.
But again, in trust, it takes a long time to build trust. And sometimes maybe we just give trust because, sometimes we'll say, well, until the person gives me a reason not to trust, I'll trust, right? And that's okay, right? But I mean, even with that, obviously there's boundaries that we set in place,
Yes.
right? Which are good things to set boundaries because, it protects us and protects others, right? Protects our family, and in this case, protects my wife, our home. So we set boundaries in place for protection, right? And then you may have trust and say, well, I'm just going to offer trust to somebody until they do something. And people are people, people are sinners. And that's the thing, that sometimes we trust too often without putting certain boundaries. And, then you get burned, and then you say, well, now I don't trust people, or this, and again, going completely off topic, still on the topic of trust. But in marriage, it's more about building that trust. It's kind of like love, which is action, right? Love is, you show love in action, right? How do you know that I love you? By my actions, right? Kind of the same when I say, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do something, I do it, and you go, wow, he did what he said he was going to do, right? So again, that builds trust, and next time that I say something, I'm going to do what I said I was going to do, because you already have an example, you already have experience with that. But then also, that also shows love, that I did come through and do what I said I was going to do, because I love you, because I said I was going to do it. And it's the same way you build love in action, the same way trust is developed in action.
Awesome.
And now in a marriage, you don't seem like you want to add anything to this.
Because you said a lot already.
All right, but in marriage, right, you need to build trust. In marriage, there should be that trust where, like the Bible says, right, the two shall become one flesh. And you should be able to share everything, right? One flesh meaning, obviously we know the implications of one flesh, right? That's how the little ones come along. But there's also the implication of one flesh, meaning that we together become one mind as well, and
So
share ideas, and
we have
two
a big
heads.
mind, honey.
Two heads are better than one.
Okay.
Yeah, if we put them together, it's like we need a big hat to cover both our heads together. If it's just one hat.
You have a big brain together.
You got a big brain by yourself, but that's another story.
That's mean.
Yeah, so build trust in your marriage.
Yes.
Again,
It's
do what
it's
you say
a
you're gonna do.
it's a lot of work because it is.
It is work.
It is work. I mean, we've gone through a lot of things that I think in our marriage we've lost trust for each other. Like I didn't trust him, and I know he didn't trust me. So it was a lot of work, a lot of action, a lot of consistency. I think too, and proof that yes, we do fail at times because we are human, and but when there's something that happens after you build a trust, if something happens that he tells me, or in our marriage, I think it's different now than before with the
Yeah.
trust, because it's not like I'm gonna say, oh, I don't trust you anymore, because it's very different now.
Well,
from
there is
before.
another factor,
Yeah.
and the other factor that I know in our marriage, right, is grace,
Yep.
and that's something that we learned. And as a Christian, we receive grace from God when we accept the sacrifice. And
I gotta lower the chicken some.
oh, you're over here whispering. I didn't know what you were saying.
Oh, sorry. I thought we had the one mind and I could say it and you could like feel it.
Wow.
But,
So what was I saying? You just distracted me there.
that grace.
Grace, yes, grace, very important. Grace is one thing that also has helped our marriage because there has been many failures that if it were us a couple of years back, the trust would be gone just like that.
Yeah.
But also there's other things, again, when you build trust, you build the love. And again, I know I said it's action, but again, it's a lot of actions that have happened. So it's experience. And then you build that. Go ahead, you want to finish it for me? Because
No,
we're one mind. We're like
It's
this.
kind of like building Legos, right? Is that what you're trying to say? No. Okay. So
Wow,
see that.
I wasn't going there at all anywhere, but
Uh.
I see. I guess you could say trust is like building the Jenga stack,
Yeah.
and you take one out and put it on top, and you keep. And at some point, if you every time you pull one out, that's a failure, or
Yeah.
Right.
You're afraid that it's gonna,
yes,
collapse.
but when there's grace, even if the whole tower collapses, there's grace, there's forgiveness,
Yes.
and the other person's intentions. And I say quotations because, again, we have good intentions in our mind, but sometimes we do what we don't want. What we say we want to do, we don't do, but we do what we don't want to do sometimes, and that's how we fail. And so that's where we need the grace. And again, as Christians, God has given us grace, has shown us grace, has forgiven us, and so we must forgive as well.
Yes. Very true.
All right, and now we don't want the chicken to burn. So.
No. Yeah. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Again, we are Power Marriage. Subscribe to the channel if you like the channel. I don't know if you're going to like this video because you got to go leave for some chicken, but
Yeah. And you gotta stop it before.
leave
I
us some comments, and we'll see you guys
Have a
next
good
time.
one. Bye.
Bye, guys.